I started playing sports when I was in 7th grade, actually. I mean, I played sports all through my life, but I never played like organized sports until about middle school, when I started there with football. So football for 2 years, and then after that, I kind of went on to my older brother. My brother's 3 years older than me, so he was already in high school at the point where I was starting football. So he played football, I played football, so that was there. And then once I got to high school, I was like, I'd never really ran track, but I was like, why not experiment with it, kind of. And I jumped onto the track, ran there. But I had something, one of my gym teachers always told me, they're like, you have long legs, you should definitely try running track in high school. And I was like, why not? And went for it and just kind of dabbled with a couple of different events and just found where I fit, and that was with the short sprints and the jumps.
Well, Bryan is a sophomore now, so last year when he was a freshman, it was more of a growing experience, me trying to learn who he is as an athlete, who he is as a person. This year, it was a little easier because I have already had a year under my belt with him, so we knew what we wanted to focus on, what we needed to work on to allow him to use his talents and advance as far as he can.
I'm Bryan Sosoo's, you can say I'm his best friend, like his older big brother. You know, I've known him for like about 2 years now. I'll say that we have a very great relationship between each other. Well, it's funny because I'll start off in the summertime. You know, he followed me on Instagram. I was like, "Who is this kid?" Then I seen that he was going to Monmouth. So, you know, like when you see somebody that you don't know, you want to stalk their Instagram. So I went through his list. I was like, okay, he's pretty fast. I was like, oh, he plays football too. So I decided to send him a message. I was like, hey, what's up? I see you going to Monmouth. I see you want to do track and field here. And then he was like, yeah, I might possibly do football here too. I was like, yeah, that's what's up. You know, if you need any help, just contact me. I gave him my number. And the first day of school, we finally ran into each other. He's like, hey, what's up? You know, nice to meet you in person. And then from there, we just had like a great relationship.
Last year, we really saw him emerging as a great sprinter. He had an upperclassman, Amir Dupree, that was helping him out, like a little brother kind of thing. But this year at our conference championships indoor, he broke the MAC record, the Metro Atlantic Athletic Conference record, and broke it pretty big, which qualified him for the USA Indoor Championships, where he was running against Olympians, people that were winning gold medals on the United States Olympic 4x1. We traveled to Portland, Oregon for that, and he held his own amongst the greatest in the world. So I would say for a 19-year-old and he's a sophomore, that would be my highlight from him right now.
The first time that we ever ran against each other, we don't really know like who we are or like how fast we actually are till competition happens. So we ran against each other and we're in the same heat, and the gun goes off, we run. My first reaction was like, dang, he's fast. He is like, that's the fastest start that I've ever seen. Like, he just shot out like a bullet, like, pew, like that. I was like, wow, he's already like 3 steps ahead of everybody. And like, that motivated me to be better. And like, I asked him, like, I still ask him till this day, like, for personal advice, like, how can I get like my start faster? That he tells me, he's like, it's all about just the way that your arms come up, the way that you drive. It just comes so natural for him. Like, he comes to me for advice about how to finish, and I come to advice to him about how should I start. So we run relays together, 4x1. Well, that's the only relay that we actually run together. But it takes a while for our chemistry to like mesh. You know, he's third leg and I'm anchor, so we gotta worry about like how much steps we should like have before I take off, and like when should I put my hand out and he should give me like the baton. So I admit, like, we're like the 2 fastest people on the team, but that doesn't always mean that we run perfect races. So for the 4x1 especially, it will take a while for us to build a chemistry to like have a perfect race. And I'll have to say, like, during MAC conference championship meet outdoor, we just have the perfect chemistry, like perfect timing, perfect. It don't really like matter when it happens, it just matters like, all right, so we practice all the time. Like, how are we supposed to do this? It just came to a point like we had to change our steps like 5-6 times a practice, and that was very frustrating for him and me especially. But the kind of relationship we have, we don't really pay too much attention about it. And the picture that you're talking about, me holding him like a little brother, he actually broke my record that meet. I wasn't mad. I was actually happy because like that was the only person that I could see break like my indoor 60 record. Well, it's his record now, but to break that record, and I was so proud of him because I see how much work that he puts in, and the time that he ran, he was able to run that at USA's in Oregon. So.
With my hands, actually, nothing really happened. I was born like that, and I think I've never found like the actual like reason, but I've looked some stuff up, and it's kind of just like a bone fusion between the fingers and the middle. So it's kind of like the bones started to like develop, but they just fused together there. But with that, it's never really affected me in anything that I've done. I've learned to work like my ways around, not around it, but it's never affected me to the point where it's like I can't do something. If I was to say the hardest thing doing with it, I would say probably lifting, lifting some sorts of lift. But our weight trainer here has a like wrist strap that I can use and wrap it around, so I get just more grip on it there.
Good.
But I'm able to do everything pretty much.
Have you ever felt out of place, like with your hand? Have you ever felt like you didn't want people to notice it? Have you ever tried to like hide it, or just because you just didn't want people to see that first thing about you?
Hiding it, no, I wouldn't say so. But I mean, sometimes I will catch myself with my like hand in my sleeve because with not having the fingers there, one not shorter, but it's a little bit shorter. So with
Right.
sleeves will fit. One will fit on my right arm, fine. The other one might cover it a little. And some people, like when I was young, my parents would be like, "Why are you like trying to cover it?" I'm like, "I'm not.
Right.
That's not what I'm trying to do. It's just clothes don't fit, but some things are long and some things are not, but." I've never gone out of my way to hide it and try to like avoid other people seeing it.
Cool. So you embrace it?
Yeah.
Good.
That's what makes me me. Short-term goals, everything I do, I kind of just want to be the best that I can be at the task at hand, sort of thing. There's no point in putting in the effort if you're not gonna go all out and try to be on the top, be on like the top of your game.
Nice. What about some long-term goals?
Long-term goals, with it being an Olympic year, my parents are from Ghana and I have dual citizenship, so I kind of want to go after trying to hit qualifying marks for the Olympics this summer.
Wow.
So that would be something that's really neat if I can get my times down there.
Yeah, can you talk about that a little more? Kind of like what the training entails, what event you'd want to do?
There, I think I would be more so. I am a sprinter and jumper, but I think I'd be more so just a 100-meter and then like a relay guy with the 4x1. But I haven't really looked too much into it, but I've like gotten some sort of like word on, all right, this is what you need to run, sort of thing. Like, all right, we need you here by this time, so we can try to figure things out. But training-wise, my training's still I'm still on a collegiate level of training.
As a person, I feel like he's gonna be very established, very successful. A few years from now, I'll say, 5 years. Hopefully he graduated. So, but athletically, I feel like personally, he has a shot to go pro. I'm not saying that because I'm his friend. I'm considered his family. I say that because I actually believe that he has a shot to go pro after college.
If you were at the USA's and you're warming up next to all these Olympians and you saw Bryan, you would see that at first he might have been a little starstruck, but then after a while he just took over. He just never felt like he didn't belong there. And that's the moment I was able to step back and then enjoy the meet. Once I knew he was focused and said, these are just guys to run against.
And tell me, what was your first initial reaction to his hand?
Tell you the truth, I had no idea about his hands until probably October, November of last year. So he had already been here for 3 months. I just remember in the weight room, I saw him using a wrist wrap for lifting. And I said, okay, I never really saw people using wrist wraps anymore. And that's when I noticed, and I looked, I saw, and I said, oh, okay, there you go. And I never thought twice about it. This is actually one of the first times I've even thought about it.
Have you ever approached him about it regarding saying anything?
No, no. Even when we break down technique, we watch a lot of film. We do a lot of film of races, practice. I see nothing other than the athlete. I don't see it. I don't notice anything. I don't think anything holds him back. Maybe if anything, it makes him work harder. But he has a gift, and his hand has nothing to do with his ability in track and field.